What's up, AfterBuzzers? It's that time again. It's another episode of the Titan Games After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. That's right, we're talking Season 1, Episode 5, the 5th round of trials, so stick around.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
There it is. Gotta set the mood, as we say, every single week.
Let the Titan Games begin.
There you go. You see? Why haven't we been saying that this whole time?
We should.
Guys, it's that time again. It's time for another episode of the... Man, I don't know why I can't remember the name of the show. It's the Titan Games After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. My name is Ty Matthews. You can find me online at Ty Matthews PMA. Joining me, as always, some of my absolute favorite hosts on this entire network. You've seen her on the network before talking about Yellowstone. You've seen her right here on this very panel. You can find her online at Julana. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Julana Dizon.
Hey guys, I'm Julana.
Yeah. And two Julanas left. You've seen her talking about botched and all things related to that ilk. You can find her online at _Tyra Prude. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tyra Prude.
Hey guys, it's me, Tyra.
Man, let's get into it. We got some brand new obstacles to talk about. We're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about Vortex. We're going to talk about Off the Rails. We got some brand new segments for y'all tonight, so stick around. Make sure you don't miss that. But let's start with Vortex. A whole lot of chain. See, I was intrigued when we saw the tease of this episode at the end of last week's episode, just how this game was going to go. What did you guys think of Vortex?
Well, I'm firstly excited that there are new challenges coming in because for probably around the last couple episodes, I was kind of wondering if it was just me the same ones for the whole season.
Yeah.
Right, you kind of get used to them.
Yeah, I'm like, how many times can I talk about the same challenge with different people?
Sure.
So this is exciting. We've had pretty much all new ones, right? So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
There was, of course, we had Mount Olympus. There was one returning one, but other than that, half the episode dedicated to brand new events. Tyra, what did you think of Vortex?
I loved Vortex. I thought it was really cool. It was very challenging. It takes a lot of strength. I commend, with every challenge, of course, I commend everyone, but it was a really cool one.
Definitely. So let's start with our first visit to Vortex. Tyler Lucas, one half of our brotherly duo, who we will talk about a lot in this episode, taking on Julian Stewart. Now, tell me what you guys thought of this kind of brotherly dynamic between the Lucas brothers, between Tyler and Kyle.
I think it was so cute.
It was.
They were very emotional. You could tell that they really had a great brotherly bond, which is nice to see on TV. I mean, I felt for them.
Of course. What'd you think?
Yeah, I was the same. I thought it was adorable. The love for each other that they showed was just amazing. And I also thought it was just cool, how it was kind of flipped the script, like how Kyle was sharing that now Kyle is the older brother, and now Tyler is his role model. So it was just really cool to see it just all come full circle. Like Tyler was always, you could tell, as any younger sibling would always try to compete with their older brother. So to see on the show, it's just man, my younger brother is killing it, and Kyle's super emotional. It was beautiful.
Definitely. Only 3 years separating the two. Both of them going into the Air Force. One of them stationed in Colorado Springs, the other in Germany. They talk a lot about how he flew 6,000 miles, 15 hours to come compete on the Titan Games. Now, I want to speculate. We don't really know how much time there might have been between the travel and between the taping of this episode. Do you guys think that he might have been worried about jet lag or anything like that?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully he came a little bit early and got to spend some time with his family, because it would be very difficult to get off a flight and immediately
and just
go
step
in
right
there
into the arena.
and then go right back. So I'm hoping that he got at least a week,
right?
For the whole trip.
Yeah, definitely. And the Julian Stewart, the guy that he's going up against, 6'3", 278 pounds.
Dude, he's a busy man.
Just built like a brick, you-know-what house. Yeah, exactly.
A million jobs, a million kids.
Exactly. 6 jobs, 4 kids. He talks about his 250-pound paint machine at home. I don't think we saw that. I don't know what a paint machine looks like.
Me either.
I was wondering, I would have liked to see a clip of him lifting a paint machine.
Yeah, we saw him.
Yeah, everybody knows what a ladder looks like. Okay, fine.
Right.
We saw him climbing up the backside of that ladder, which it seemed like it might have helped him out a little bit in the Vortex, but I think Tyler Lucas got a little bit of a head start on kind of raising the ladder at first. You know, he's got these faster strokes, and he's got his arms almost perfectly in line with the chain. What did you guys think about his strategy?
Do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah. I think he was smart with his quickness. I thought his strategy was amazing. We talked about, even when Shannon was here, how strategy is important. And I think he came in ready and just prepared to just go full force.
Yeah. And you I imagine you don't really know what's going to work, you know, in competitions like this, because he had those kind of shorter, faster pulls. Julian, he might have more upper body strength. He's going for more kind of longer pulls, trying to get more out of a single stroke. But it looks like it ended up working out for Tyler Lucas. He raises his I guess, Vortex ladder, whatever you want to call it, raises it up higher, makes it up to the top, pulls that victory chain, qualifies to go on to Mount Olympus. We were talking about it a little off mic before the show. At first I was really, really pulling for that brother versus brother Mount Olympus challenge. What did you guys think?
I was too. I was actually sad that it didn't get to happen. I wanted to see them like compete and go head and head to really see, because I feel like in a way they still didn't necessarily see who is the best brother.
Right.
Because they were competing with other people. So yeah, it was unfortunate that he didn't. Who was it? Kyle didn't get to Mount Olympus, but I wish it could have happened. They should do like a special segment to where they just do it on their own.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I only wrote one note for Kyle's challenge, and it was just sad that he didn't win. And they kind of built it up. So when it kind of sucks from that, because when Matt won, I feel like a lot of people probably had similar feelings as us. They're like, oh, but the brother,
Exactly. So. Now, let's talk about our second Vortex of the night. Kelsey Horton taking on Jackie Wood. Kelsey, a nurse and a mother of two from Rapid City, South Dakota, while Jackie Wood is a kid's swim coach. Get some of that dynamic resistance in there, being in the water. What did you guys think of this?
Man, this one was so close.
Right?
so close. And they both, the men and the women, they both kind of, one of them did like the short, fast ones, and then the other one went for the longer strokes.
Yeah.
And I think, in my opinion, the shorter ones worked better, because also the faster you're going, it's kind of giving you momentum versus like if you're pulling it longer, but it's also going slower. So it's not really helping you as much. But yeah, I thought with the girls got tired a lot faster. So then you really saw them like dig deep and start using their legs.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're right. I think your point about those kind of like the short strokes versus the longer strokes, that also comes into play in Off the Rails, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. But I think you're absolutely right.
But I think in this case, it kind of, because Jackie won, I think it kind of worked in her favor, because she did use a longer stroke. But because of that, I feel like she had more strength when it came to climbing up that tower. Because Kelsey, on the other hand, she kind of fell. She was kind of struggling. So maybe it just kind of depends on what your body can take.
Sure.
But it was really cool. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the closer competitions that we've seen thus far in the season. At first, I thought that Jackie she was sort of getting tangled in the chain. I thought that Kelsey was going to run away with it. Jackie ends up making it to the top, gets to that victory chain, advances to Mount Olympus. We will get into the rest of the obstacles in just a minute, but AfterBuzz, stick around. We got a special message for you. Tyra.
Yeah, so hey guys, before we move on to our next topic, we just wanted to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. For us to continue to grow, we could use your help. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter what or where you are, we love to hear from you. So please leave a comment so you can get involved in our conversations. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV means so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate your support and in doing what we love. And don't forget to tell your friends and keep watching and enjoying our shows.
There we go. Now, we talked about a lot about the brand new obstacles that we saw, I guess, competitions this episode. But let's talk about the one returning event, Uprising, which pitted Brianna Daniels versus Gina Policastro. What did you guys think of this?
Man, well, we were both wrong on this because
Right.
before they started, I asked him who he thought was going to win, and we both said Gina.
We're the upper body strength, the arms and the
Right, 'cause
shoulders.
she looks so jacked.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you
Yeah.
think the same thing?
Honestly, I was rooting for Brianna.
Sure.
Like, and on this show, it's the backstories that really get me. Like, I know about, like, you know, strength and endurance, all of that, but like her story was just so moving and touching to me that it was just like, forget what Gina has, like, you push through for your mom and just like what you overcoming, you know, those difficulties that you face as a teen. So from the beginning, I was all about Brianna.
Sure.
And it was cool to see her, like, you know, just win and do well in that that challenge.
Yeah, and for as much upper body strength as Gina Policastro exhibited, you got to wonder how much lower body strength is needed for an event like Uprising. It makes me wonder, Brianna Daniels being the very first African-American female tire changer in NASCAR, you know, she's got to kind of squat down a lot to put those tires on. I wonder if that gives her a more powerful, lower kind of base.
Which I thought was interesting because I don't necessarily think of a tire changer as a very athletic job.
Right, you wouldn't
But when
think
you saw
that.
the clips of her, I was like, oh yeah, you have to be fast.
You gotta
have
get
to
those
think
arms-
fast.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You know, be mobile. But yeah, and you know what? We've done this before where we've seen someone who is really well built like a Titan, and you're like, oh my God, those muscles, they're definitely gonna win. And then they don't have the right kind of power in the right muscles that they need, and they end up not winning.
Exactly. And I think that's a great point. It's not just about having muscles, it's having the right muscles that makes a Titan. What did you guys think about Brianna just straight up hitting the ground to get that last barrier?
That was amazing. It was like something we've never seen before. Like, because we saw they both were kind of like struggling with this. So for her to just like give it her all and literally throw her body on the ground, it was quite impressive.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I liked it. It was like an extra, not funny in the way that, like, do you remember that episode where the guy was like flailing around on the floor?
No.
That was like embarrassing funny. This was like, dang, she really like
Yeah.
went the extra mile and was like, bam,
Yeah.
hit the floor. You know?
Exactly. You gotta leave it all out there. Now let's talk about, we talked a little bit about Off the Rails. Let's talk more about that brand new obstacle. It reminds me a little bit of the gates of Olympus at the beginning of Mount Olympus, because the same way that you have to push those gates and they kind of, the weight compounds with each gate, it's kind of the same thing here. You're pulling yourself on the sled, collecting these beams, and then you have to use that grappling hook to get yourself back the other way. What did you guys think of Off the Rails?
That is actually my favorite now. I
Yeah?
thought it was super cool. Like, it just, I don't know, I just like pictured them like in an ocean or something. Like, you know,
I'm not
when you're
gonna
like
lie.
floating or
Yeah.
something.
I'm not gonna lie, it reminded me a lot of Legends in the Hidden Temple.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all watched that.
I was thinking that too, more so like at the end when they like, you know, pick up the tea and they go
Sure.
put it in.
Yeah, it was,
funny.
I thought it was super cool. I really liked that challenge.
Yeah. We had the other Lucas brother, Kyle Lucas, taking on Mount Wellborn. I want to talk a little bit about, we talked about the backstories in the show, and we've had veterans, and we've had firefighters, and we've had grandmothers, and I felt a little bit mad, or I felt a little bit upset for Matt. I felt a little bit bad for Matt that his dad was an Olympian, which is awesome, but his backstory kind of got boiled down to like, oh, he can do a me and Arnold.
Yeah.
This guy, you know, it's his brother, and they're 6,000 miles apart, and they want to prove it to each other. And this guy, he sounds a little like the Terminator.
And looks like him.
I felt bad for Matt.
Yeah, and then I guess it's kind of like a lot of pressure too, because it's just like your dad is like legit. So it's
Right.
like, you better kill it.
His dad, I feel like, yeah, they didn't cover that as much as they should have. His dad was an Olympian pole vaulter, kayaker. He himself is pretty enormous, 220 pounds, but just jacked to the gills. I would have liked to have heard more about Matt.
I mean, you know, but maybe he just didn't have any, like, some people just don't have a lot of drama. Maybe he didn't have, like, a really compelling backstory. Like,
Sure.
maybe his life has just been, like, normal and fine.
Right.
For the
Yeah.
most part.
That's-
So
that's-
that was, like, the most interesting thing that they could pull. You
That's
know?
definitely a possibility for sure. But we talked about the strategies in Vortex, and that kind of came into play in Off the Rails as well. Matt is using these kind of shorter strides, and they don't have the same amount of distance as a longer one, but he's able to make sure that grappling hook kind of catches.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that?
I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really unfortunate that Kyle was struggling with the hooks going back. Like, he just couldn't get his aim, or I don't know what it was. But Matt definitely had a good strategy for this challenge.
Yeah, this one was a little different because there was a little bit of a luck factor in there, versus, okay, you throw it, but then it might not catch.
Right.
So I don't really know. I mean, there's definitely a technique to throw it where it does it, but I'm sure that none of them have ever practiced that before.
Right, exactly. Not a whole
it's
lot
like
of
not
people.
really like so much of a physical thing as like definitely technique based.
Yeah, it's finesse, it's technique. I think Golden Boy made an astute observation that like you can go for that long stride, but if it doesn't hook, you're wasting a lot of time kind of reeling it back in. Interesting. So Matt ends up taking the win. So it's up to Tyler Lucas in Mount Olympus to avenge his brother's loss. We talked about it a little bit. I liked the brother versus brother narrative, but I also ended up really liking the fact that Tyler had to sort of avenge his brother at Mount Olympus, Very kind of Greek mythology.
Yeah.
I still would have liked to see them compete, just so they know between themselves once and for all who is the most athletic. Like, maybe it would have been cool if maybe they got to do it like at the same time, separately, not filmed.
Oh, interesting.
That would have
Okay.
been cool.
Like
Maybe
behind the scenes
Yeah,
during,
it's just like,
yeah,
why not? Sure, just go ahead. And do it.
Sure. So that's interesting. I've always wondered about that. Like, how would it affect your performance if you didn't have someone to compete against? If you were just doing it yourself, would it be faster? Would it be slower?
We're gonna see that later in our special segment.
Right. That's right. Absolutely. A little bit of a teaser there, y'all. Stick around. Remember, if you're on YouTube, we've got a lot of content for you. We've got a lot of special segments in this episode. But if you're on iTunes, remember, download, comment, review, subscribe, rate, 5 stars if you're nasty. Of course, hit us up, talk to us about the show. We want to get everyone involved in the conversation. Everyone talking about the Titan Games. Let's go to Mount Olympus. Let's talk. First of all, Brianna Daniels taking on Jackie Wood. Tell me what you thought about the women's half of Mount Olympus.
Well, I think it was. I wasn't really sure about this one. I thought they both seemed like pretty good competitors, but we really saw Brianna lose a lot of steam once we got to scaling the wall.
Sure.
And I feel like, sometimes we see people compete and they're pretty much neck and neck, and then sometimes there's an obstacle that really just wipes somebody out, and you can be like, there's no hope of them catching up.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Exactly. And I think normally that obstacle tends to be the rolling ascent. People kind of keep slipping back. They can't really conquer those. But a lot of times we've seen the cliffs really do people in.
Yeah.
Either they're not strong enough to punch the holes, or they punch the holes too big, which we'll see a little bit later.
Well, and she almost fell.
Right.
She did.
And we've definitely seen that a few times so far this season.
Yeah.
But I also noticed that she was kind of punching holes on the same level. Especially when she got to the top, I noticed she punched a hole like on the left, like right across from where she had already punched it. So, I mean, if you're trying to go up the wall as fast as you can, you need to be going up.
Yeah, you want to kind of stagger them.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. I never thought about that.
So I don't know. I feel like she was kind of pretty tired at that point.
I see. Tyra, what jumped out at you about this?
I think at the crank, I think that's where she really kind of lost it. I feel like her technique wasn't good. I don't know. It looks like she was kind of going backwards. And I felt like that took too much out of her, for where if she could like put all of her energy going forward, it would have been a better outcome for her. Like you said, going up the cliff was hard, but when she got to like the crank torch or whatever it's called, it was just like, okay, she can't figure out how to get through this smoothly.
Right. And I think, that's a great observation. I think a lot of people think that by kind of pulling backwards, they might have maybe more leverage. I don't know. But it seems like the more we've seen people throw their whole body into it, it seems like that's kind of more effective. Interesting. Now like I said, the rolling ascent has done a lot of people in. We saw both of them slip on that. They're getting so close, but eventually it's Jackie Wood makes it down, just is killing that ball and chain.
Yeah.
I mean, the definition on the arms and the shoulders, right?
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of people do some really impressive stuff once it gets to the tail end of Mount Olympus with the ball and chain and the tomb and the relic and everything. One of the first things that jumped out to me, Jackie Wood, one of the only people that turned the relic the right way on the first try. Did you guys notice
I
that?
didn't notice that.
If you notice that, I feel like the vast majority of people, I don't know what it is, they put the relic in and they always have the instinct to turn it the wrong way. So they have to kind of cross their arms up, turning it the right way. Jackie Wood has the right instinct. That's just a little observation, y'all.
That's weird. Now I'm going to look for that. I'm gonna look for that next
Yeah.
week.
I might have to go rewind back.
When they're turning that relic, look at the way they kind of turn it at first. Most of the time, it's the wrong way, and then it's like, shit. It's like when you get to one of those doors and you can't tell if it's a push or a pull. You just have that little moment of
That would
anxiety.
be awful if we had two that were like right there and one of them just went the wrong way.
Yeah. That's a good point. I'm waiting for that to happen.
That would suck.
Oh, man. Now let's talk the other half of Mount Olympus. Tyler Lucas taking on Matt Wellborn. What'd you guys think?
Well, Maddie boy here, this roller strategy, I really like that.
That
We
was
haven't seen
fascinating.
anybody do
it
it
was
before.
so good.
He was
Yeah.
actually using them to his advantage by pushing them and then jumping on it and coasting over it.
That was so fascinating.
But besides that, Tyler killed this.
Right.
He was like
A frog.
go mode. Like, no, I don't recall him struggling at all. He like quickly accomplished every section or part of Mount Olympus.
Yeah, and I think it's rare that we see people not really have any sort of issue with the rolling
Yeah.
ascent, but his strategy, he was kind of using his knees and his shins to kind of go from roller to roller, and it seemed to really work out for him.
To me, watching it, it seemed like when you would play video games and you would like just hit everything just right, when you would go to the next one, you did it like perfectly. That's what he looked like to me going over those rollers.
I like that. I like that analogy.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time since I played video games, but
Yeah.
when I did, I was good at them.
No, you're absolutely right. Of course, Golden Boy, one of our commentators, a known Overwatch League commentator. I'm repping the Overwatch League right here. Get those video games in, get that coordination in. But sometimes when you hit that stride, when you hit everything just right, it compounds the pressure. You know, like it makes you think like, shoot, what's gonna go wrong?
Right.
Yeah, no, he was killing it. Even when he got to like the ball and chain, he was speeding through. I was just like, oh, he came to win. Like, he's definitely gonna be a top competitor for when they all come together.
Yes, when we get to the Battle of the Titans, absolutely. Even just when he runs at the wall at the very beginning, he's barking the entire way.
Yeah, I heard that.
He was barking at
Yeah. I was into that for sure. Sometimes that's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But Matt Wellborn, it's that's definitely worth commending, that unique strategy on the rolling ascent. Because he's built like, we've talked a lot about Frank the Tank and about Anthony Furman, how they're kind of top heavy and how that doesn't really help them on those rollers, but using that momentum and almost riding it over.
That was it was amazing. Like, that was so good to watch.
But then when he gets past the rollers, when he gets to the cliffs, he's almost too strong for his own good. He's making the holes too big, and that kind of makes his ascent up that wall even harder. What'd you guys think?
I feel the same, but like, I don't know, I just thought of something like random, like with him being super strong, like I wonder how strong the wall is, because what if it's like it comes to the point where someone's climbing and then it's like breaking as it's coming down?
Sure.
I don't know, like, could that happen?
I think it's pretty strong. I mean, we've seen some of the holes rip because
Right,
they were
right,
too
right.
big,
Yeah.
but I remember we were discussing, maybe it was the very first episode, but we were like, but how strong is that wall? Because they're just
Yeah.
punching through it, like. But
Right.
then-
Well, my theory, and this is based on absolutely nothing but pure conjecture, my theory is that, there's the wall, obviously, and they're punching the holes through. I feel like there's got to be, like, sort of platforms behind the wall.
okay.
I don't know that they're putting the entirety of their body weight on whatever the wall's made of, but I have no clue. That's, once again, not based on anything. but that very well could be the case. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it ends up not working out for our would-be Terminator. Tyler Lucas takes it, locks in that relic, qualifies to go on to the Battle of the Titans, avenges his brother's loss. And that was another thing that I didn't put together at first until they were at Mount Olympus, is that he would be taking on directly the guy that eliminated his brother. So that's
Yeah,
it
so it was kind of a revenge kind of thing. Like, how dare you? We were supposed to do this together.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if this show really picks up steam, we got to have like an all-star season, kind of like in the vein of American Ninja Warrior. So maybe we can see it then. Who knows? But that means we've got two brand new Titans making it to the season finale. We've got Jackie Wood and Tyler Lucas. We've only got 2 weeks left of normal competition. This season is just flying by. Just absolutely incredible. But we told you guys we've got a little bit of extra content here to kind of delve into. So I want to start out with a special segment that I like to call Beyond the Games. We're gonna have some snazzy theme music. I didn't really think about that part, but. In the booth, we're not getting to the Ellen clip just yet. We're going to save that for the next segment. But I want to talk to y'all about the myth of Mount Olympus and kind of the namesake of this show's signature obstacle. Now, the mythological Mount Olympus was in Greek mythology, it was where the 12 Olympian gods sort of convened and discussed the fate of the mortals that they oversaw. I'm not going to go into all of the Olympian gods. There's some kind of back and forth as to who's included, who's not, but it included gods like Poseidon, gods like Hermes, Ares, the god of war, and Athena, the goddess of war. And they would just get together and they would just kind of chill. They would just kind of kick it.
Oh, yeah?
They would,
They just chilled?
Yeah, they would just kick it. They would drink nectar. They would eat ambrosia. And they would just talk about these mortals that are just like, man, what the hell are they doing down there?
I'm sure that is probably like what The Rock does. And he,
Right.
there was that one episode where he was just like, these mortals.
Right.
What are these regular humans doing?
I
down
feel like
there?
that's going to be the set of Hobbs and Shaw, that kind of Fast and Furious spin-off. It'll be The Rock, it'll be Jason Statham, Roman Reigns is on set, and they're all just kind of just kicking it, talking about
Drinking
mortals.
nectar.
Drinking nectar, eating ambrosia, all that stuff. But the real Mount Olympus, the actual Mount Olympus, is the highest mountain in Greece at 9,573 feet tall. It was declared a national park in 1938, and thousands of people visit it every year. Our YouTube viewers, you can see that is the real-life Mount Olympus right there.
Do you know if you can hike to the summit?
You can. You can.
Wow.
It's a regular kind of like hike for the most part up until the last bit of the hike, and then it is a YSD Class 3 scramble. As they say in sort of the.
What does that mean?
So that means the YSD is the Yosemite. It's the Yosemite. It's some sort of system that was come up with by these kind of mountain climbers and these sort of mountaineers back in the 20s and 30s. And a scramble it's not so much rock climbing, but it's kind of a hybrid of the two.
Okay.
You're walking, but you're also kind of like using your hands to sort of manage your way up there. But yes, you can actually, Mount Olympus is a real place that you can hike to the summit of.
That's cool.
Exactly,
Wow,
right?
That's really cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I may be
That should
outing...
be their chat. That should be their title.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Every man for himself.
I might be outing myself as a complete moron right now, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I did not know Mount Olympus was a real place.
I didn't either. No, this
Okay,
is
I
all
didn't.
like knowledge for me. So this is cool.
There you go.
You're not alone.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you. Just making sure. So that's just a little bit of what takes you beyond the games, Mount Olympus's namesake. But we're also going to get into a little bit of news and gossip about the show with Miss Tyra Prude.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry.
like-
No. I'm sorry.
She's like, oh, wait. Okay.
Miss Julana Dizon.
I was ready, but
What were you gonna say?
I'm throwing
I'm
curveballs.
literally in my mind like, okay,
Throwing curveballs
think
at you.
something.
Be ready.
Okay, so
Julana, take it away.
I after last week's episode, I saw this on Ellen Tube, and I just thought it was so hilarious. And I'm not super familiar with all of Ellen's different programming, but apparently this is one of her producers, and she does all these funny segments with him. And his name is Average Andy. So he's just a very average, normal person, and she puts him through these things that end up being really funny. So, of course, she sent him to conquer Mount Olympus. And so here we can see this is what it would be like for an average human being.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and
do
watch
this.
Average Andy take on Mount Olympus.
Andy against Mount Olympus.
Just running straight into that wall.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And in slow-mo.
to go after the wall, and he did just that. God bless him. He decided to go around the side.
The way that it doesn't
Oh, he
even
went
budge.
around. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's like, okay, can't do this one.
Well, proof that this is not easy.
He's like, oh, I'm skipping these two.
The first wall, I could have sworn
He's at least getting that one. I'll give him that much.
It's funny because he'll do some of them and he'll do them a little bit and then he'll be like, that's enough. The next one.
And just, yeah, swearing the entire way.
he's not as excited as
I was a little bit surprised on these that he did as well, but I'm wondering if they made him stationary for a reason.
Right, they probably are stationary, huh?
Yeah, I think, yeah, they're
Well,
not
this
moving.
proves that it takes special skill.
It's just like collapsing.
gathering himself.
The commentary is really funny too, though.
It's so good.
Look at his picture.
Even just, yeah, the picture that they used for him.
Oh, he
The
is
poor
done.
guy.
Didn't he even go up the cliff?
No, didn't do the cliff, didn't do the torch crank.
Look at him now. He's sliding down Mount Olympus, Leo.
Oh, gee.
Him doesn't go face first into that wall. And I would say at this point, a remarkably average performance.
A remarkably average performance.
Looking more like awesome Andy.
Just slamming into those walls.
There we go. Come on. He's doing it. He slides down. Oh, the grace, the poise. Get that key.
Oh,
And then no ball and chain
no
for Average
ball and
Andy.
chain. No.
So watch the way he turns the relic.
Okay.
See
Okay,
it?
he was kind of going the wrong way.
Congratulations, you have conquered. I'm not quite too sure if conquered's the right word, but you did amazing on Mount Olympus.
He can't even like realize the fact that The Rock is talking to him. He's like, oh my god, I'm about to die.
That is amazing.
Isn't
I am
that
so
so
happy
funny?
you pulled that. Wow.
So big ups to Average Andy.
A remarkably average performance. I love that.
That was crazy. But it's funny because I was thinking that like I wonder if they would like make, I don't know, like Universal or someone would make like a what am I trying to say, ride or something for people to actually
Like
do
an
it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and in my mind I'm like, ooh, I want to try it. But now watching this, I'm like, okay, so it does take training and all of that. It's not as simple as they make it look on TV. That was really cool.
I love it. Just sets it off the very first one at the wall. He's like, bam.
And it doesn't even budge. Like, at least it moves a little bit when people on the show hit it. Not
No,
Andy.
it was just like it looked like he was like, I don't know. And then it's just funny watching him literally completely skip. Just, I'm not gonna do it. Let's go to the next part. That was amazing.
Even the slide part looks like it's hurting him.
Yeah.
Which, like, normally I never even think about that, but part of me thought when I was watching this run, like, that part probably isn't that comfortable either.
Yeah.
He's just like falling everywhere. And you can just tell he's so exhausted that he can't even like try to land in a comfortable way. He's just like,
Right.
bam, over the wall,
That is
bam.
That was amazing.
Exactly. We don't usually get into predictions on this show a little bit, but we got a little bit of time, so let's get into some predictions.
Yeah, well, we were talking about.
Wait.
Now, AfterBuzz
Forgot.
TV predictions.
You gotta let the theremin play out.
Yeah.
It's still going.
Ed Wood style theremin. Oh, it takes a while. Now, I want to talk to you guys about what we think the Battle of the Titans might look like. We've only got 2 weeks left of normal competition, and then we go on to the Battle of the Titans. But we don't really know, at least I don't know. I haven't seen or read anything about what it's going to be like. What do you guys think the Battle of the Titans might look like?
I have no idea. I mean, I really didn't even think about it until we were discussing it before this show.
Right.
But we're like, okay, there's how many of them? 16 total. So 8 girls and 8 guys. And so if they do it the same way they've kind of been doing these shows, I could see them doing that. But I kind of want to see a competition where they're like, all the girls are doing it at the same time, so you see all of them on an equal playing field.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it would be cool if they all had the same challenges and like all 8 of them were going at the same time.
Right.
That would be epic.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyra, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm honestly, I couldn't think of a prediction, but that is an amazing prediction. I agree. But I guess I'm wondering, like, I'm excited to see what kind of challenges they do come up with and how technical they're going to be, because I feel like it's already hard to top the ones that they already have. So I just wonder how they're going to, I don't know, is it going to be based off of strength or like speed, or I'm just curious to see the different kind of obstacles that they create.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm thinking, and this could just be my love of Wipeout kind of bleeding into my view of this show. I don't know if y'all watched Wipeout.
I remember it.
It's one of my absolute favorite shows. But I feel like what we might see is maybe one big group competition that just cuts the group in half right off the bat. Like we get one that just cuts it down to 4. Then maybe it's like 2 and 2, and then we see the final 2 take on each other. Who knows? I'm not entirely sure.
Or I just had another idea.
Uh-huh.
What if they did it in a way where everyone is doing the same? So, like, say everyone does like a Mount Olympus, but one at a time, and they time it, and then the winner is the fastest time.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Or what if it's something that just tops Mount Olympus? Like, what is just
a mega, an aggro Mount Olympus in Global Guts terms.
I don't know, because these, like I said, these challenges are already very intense.
Yeah.
So I'm just really curious to see how they're gonna top it.
Man, we should have asked Shannon.
She wouldn't have told.
I know she wouldn't have told us, but
Give us,
I really want to know now. I'm like, what are they gonna do?
Exactly. We should have asked her. We're gonna guess and just kind of nod your head slightly if we're on the right track.
Yeah.
Because, you're right. American Ninja Warrior, they've got Mount Midoriyama, where it's like just this enormous thing that there have been entire seasons where not a single person has conquered it.
Yeah.
So I wonder, what the Titan game equivalent would look like.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, we're almost there.
We got a lot to look forward to for sure. But guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. Like I said, this season has been absolutely flying by. So make sure if you're on Twitter, on Instagram, hit us up, be part of the conversation. Let's all talk about the Titan games. But until then, guys, where can they find you?
Hey guys, you can find me on all social media platforms at _Tyra Prude.
What's up, guys? You can find me on my Instagram at Julana.
And as always, you can find me on all forms of social media at Ty Matthews PMA, as well as on Wednesday nights for the Magicians After Show. That's 9 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday nights. We're talking about season 4 of The Magicians. You can catch me on Saturdays, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Check those local listings. But remember, if you're on YouTube, leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up, tell us what you think. If you're on iTunes, download, comment, review, subscribe, rate, 5 stars if you're nasty. We want to hear from you. Tell us what you thought about the new competitions, what you guys think you would be best suited for, and what you think the Battle of the Titans is going to look like, because it's coming up soon. So next week, we'll be right back here, same time, same channel, Thursday night, 9 p.m. Pacific, talking about episode 6 of the Titan Games. But until then, peace.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.